This fanfiction story is an original work created and scripted entirely from my own imagination. It is made solely for entertainment purposes and is not intended to harm or disrespect any idols mentioned.
I was walking to the staff room, balancing a massive pile of math assignments in my arms. As the class leader, it was my job to collect and submit everyone's work. But the stack was so high, it completely blocked my view. While heading down the stairs, I misjudged a step and stumbled slightly. The top half of the assignment slid off, scattering across the floor. I let out an annoyed groan. Sighing, I knelt down to start gathering the papers, but stopped when I noticed another pair of hands helping me pick them up. I looked up and met a pair of eyes. He was tilting his head, a familiar smirk playing on his lips. "Louis, I asked you more than 10 times to let me help you carry these, but no, Wonder Woman over here has an ego bigger than her actual height. God forbid she asks for help. Tisk." I rolled my eyes, stood back up with my half of the stack, and glared at him. I gestured with my chin toward the papers in his hands, silently demanding he pile them back onto mine. Louis, raising an eyebrow. "What, still haven't learned your lesson? Or are you planning to drop them every 10 steps all the way to the staff room? YN, I don't need your help. Just shut your annoying mouth, put those papers on top, and fuck off." Louis, feisty, aren't we? But no thanks. I can't risk my classmates' assignments reaching Mr. Min's desk, covered in dust. Without wasting another second, he reached over, took a massive chunk of the assignments right out of my arms, and added them to his own stack. He turned and walked ahead, without even looking back, leaving me standing there, clenching my fists in pure annoyance. Later that afternoon, the chaotic energy of the classroom faded as Kaya and I strolled through the school's garden courtyard during recess. The crisp air was supposed to be relaxing, but my peace was cut short the second I spotted a familiar, annoying crowd near the benches. Louis, surrounded by a swarm of girls from the other classes, looking entirely too comfortable with all the attention. I let out a loud, dramatic scoff, crossing my arms. Kaya looked over at me, raising an eyebrow. "Careful, if you glare any harder, you're going to set him on fire." YN, I just don't get it. What do these girls actually see in him? Tsk. He's literally just an annoying creature, nothing else. Kaya laughed, shaking her head as she looked over at the crowd. Kaya, hello? He's the school president, dude. Obviously, from the students to the teachers and literally every single faculty staff member, everyone loves him. YN, rolling eyes. Please, he's a cult that everyone is falling into. Tsk. Nobody's realizing that now, but the day will come. Right then, as if he had a radar for my irritation, Louis glanced over the heads of the girls surrounding him. His eyes locked right onto mine. The polite, public-friendly smile instantly shifted into that private, mocking smirk I hated so much. He raised his hand, giving me a tiny 2-finger salute. My fists clenched in my pockets. YN, let's go. The hypocrisy over here is giving me a headache. The next morning, I walked into school and headed down the hallway toward the locker area. As I got closer, I spotted Louis standing just a few steps away from my locker, making me raise my eyebrows. A girl was standing right in front of him, nervously holding out a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Deciding to just ignore them, I walked right past and opened my locker to grab my books for the morning. Just as I was about to close it, Louis's voice carried over to me. "Louis, I already have a girlfriend. This is my 5th time rejecting you. Why don't you understand?" "Girl, don't lie. You don't have one, and everyone knows it." Hearing him say that suddenly made my heart drop. I forced myself to stay calm, not wanting to act as if it bothered me or even care about whether he was dating someone or not. Annoyed, I closed my locker door with a loud, aggressive swing. The sharp slam echoed down the hall, making both of them jump slightly in surprise where they stood in front of Louis's locker. I turned on my heel and began to walk past them, completely ignoring their presence. But just as I stepped right beside them, a strong arm suddenly pulled me back. He dragged me backward, forced me to face them, and pulled me tightly to his side. I immediately glared up at him in shock. "Louis, and why do you think it's necessary for me to scream and let the world know I have a girlfriend? Some precious and beautiful things should be kept hidden from the evil eyes of this world." He looked down at me with a smirk, then turned his gaze back to the girl. The girl's eyes widened in utter shock, her gaze flickering between Louis's arm wrapped around my waist and my glaring face. The bouquet of flowers in her hands trembled. The girl, Ya Yen, the class leader, you two are dating? I opened my mouth to completely deny it and blast Louis into the next century, but before a single word could escape my lips, Louis tightened his grip on my shoulder, pulling me even closer to him. Louis, sighing dramatically. See, babe, this is exactly why I wanted to keep us a secret. People just can't mind their own business. My jaw dropped. Babe? I pinched his side as hard as I could, but the annoying creature didn't even flinch. He just kept that perfect, heartbreaking smile directed at the poor girl. Louis, what the hell do you think you're? Louis, cutting her off smoothly. I know you hate public displays of affection, sweetheart, but she needed proof. Now, if you'll excuse us, my girlfriend gets very grumpy as she's late for her morning class. The girl looked like she was about to cry. She clutched the bouquet to her chest, let out a small sob, and turned around, running down the hallway away from us. The second she was out of sight, I violently shoved Louis' arm off my shoulder and took 3 large steps back, my face burning with a mixture of rage and sheer embarrassment. YN, are you completely insane? What is wrong with your brain? Why did you drag me into your stupid rejection mess? Louis casually dropped his hands back into his pockets, leaning his shoulder against his locker. The fake, romantic boyfriend persona vanished instantly, replaced by that incredibly irritating smug smirk. Louis, what? You should be thanking me. You got to be the precious and beautiful thing hidden from the world for a whole 2 minutes. Quite an upgrade from Wonder Woman, don't you think? YN, I am going to murder you, Louis. I swear to God, if a single rumor spreads around this school about us, I am going to make your life a living hell. Louis, tilting his head, stepping a bit closer. Oh, come on, class leader. Look at it this way. Now nobody will dare bother you, because everyone thinks you belong to the school president. It's a win-win. I paused, staring at him as a brilliant, evil thought suddenly flashed in my mind. The anger completely vanished from my face, replaced by a slow, triumphant grin. YN, what to do, sadly? The girl will find out you're lying very quickly, as I already have a boyfriend. Louis' smug smirk faltered for a fraction of a second. His eyebrows twitched upward, his eyes narrowing slightly as he took in my sudden change of mood. Louis, a boyfriend? Please, since when do you have a boyfriend? YN, shrugging casually, crossing arms. Since recently. And unlike your imaginary relationship, mine is very real. So the moment anyone sees me with him, your little precious secret excuse is going to blow up right in your face. Everyone will know the great school president had to use a fake girlfriend just to get rid of a girl. Louis let out a low, dry chuckle, stepping a bit closer until he was looking down at me, his eyes searching my face for any sign of a bluff. Louis, nice try, class leader. But if you actually had a boyfriend, Kaya would have let it slip, or I would have seen him. So who is this mystery guy? Or did you just make him up in the last 10 seconds to save your pride? YN, go and ask Wujin Sunbae. He will tell you if I'm dating him or not. Tisk. Finally, for the first time ever, his eyes wavered. That rock-solid confidence of his cracked, making me feel an internal rush of pure victory. I had finally won. Louis, you are not dating him. Go and ask him, if you want to know the truth. Tisk. He is your hyung, after all. I didn't say anything yet. Tisk. I stepped closer, raising my hand to pat his shoulder reassuringly. A victorious side smirk plastered on my face. Without waiting for his response, I turned on my heel and walked ahead down the hallway, slipping my hands casually into my pockets. Later that afternoon, Louis headed straight to Wujin's house. Wujin had left school early that day, ruining Louis's plans to confront him on campus. Since their families were close friends, Louis didn't hesitate to walk right into his house. He knocked lightly on Wujin's bedroom door, tossed his school bag against the wall, and collapsed face first onto the bed with a heavy sigh. Wujin. Yeah, did you seriously come straight here from school? You could have at least gone home to change first. Louis, muffling his voice into the mattress, trying to act casual. My parents are coming over to your place for dinner tonight anyway. I was too lazy to go all the way home just to come back. Wujin, you're unbelievable. Go get cleaned up, I'll find some spare clothes for you. Louis dragged himself off the bed and walked into the attached bathroom. He left the door ajar and began splashing water on his face, grabbing the cleanser. Louis, hey Hyung. By the way, I heard you and YN have been spending a lot of time together lately. He asked the question with forced nonchalance, peeking through the doorway with white foam covering his face. Woojin, YN? Kim YN, the leader of your class? Louis, yeah, her. Some ridiculous rumors have been floating around the halls. Tisk, people are actually saying you two are dating. Completely absurd, right? Louis kept his eyes locked on Woojin, carefully reading his expression. He knew perfectly well the rumor didn't exist. It was just a bluff YN had thrown in his face to rattle him. But he was far too proud to just ask Woojin directly. Woojin, me and YN? Haha, wait, isn't she the girl you're crazy about? Louis froze mid-motion, his hands hovering over the sink. He slowly turned around, looking back at Woojin with an incredibly awkward, stunned expression as the soap bubbles began to drip down his chin. Louis, how did you... Wait, who told you that? Woojin, laughing, shaking his head. Come on, isn't it painfully obvious? Every time I see you on campus, you're either getting mobbed by a crowd of girls, or YN is the one getting mobbed by you. Wherever I look, you're always right there around her, and she's just standing there giving you that hilarious, grumpy glare of hers. Louis scratched the nape of his neck, looking incredibly embarrassed as the white foam started running down his jaw. Louis, right. Anyway, that means you two aren't actually dating, right? Woojin, obviously not, dude. Why would I? Louis let out a frustrated groan and lightly punched the side of the sink. Louis, that little creature got me again. Just then, his phone buzzed on the counter. He wiped his hands quickly and picked it up. A preview of your text popped up on the screen, and his eyes widened as he read it. Oh, by the way, I saw you heading over to Woojin Sunbae's place. Looks like someone walked right into my trap. Haha, did you forget I live right next door to him? Louis closed his phone, taking a deep, calming breath to stop himself from losing it. After rinsing his face, he threw on a white bathrobe, marched out of the bathroom, and headed straight for the bedroom balcony. Gripping the metal railing tightly, he leaned out and yelled into the open air. Louis. Ah! Kim. Right on cue, the glass door of the balcony directly opposite Woojin's room slid open. You stepped out into the cool evening air, looking completely relaxed. Because your houses were right next to each other, the distance between the two balconies wasn't far at all. You leaned against your railing, looking at him with a viciously triumphant smirk. My, I thought I heard someone screaming my name. Was that you, Louis? You tilted your head, acting completely innocent despite the wicked grin on your face. Louis let out a defeated sigh, pinching the bridge of his nose. He had totally forgotten in his panic that you lived right there. Great. Just great. Louis, you. I never knew you'd take my words so seriously that you'd literally run all the way to Woojin Sunbae's house just to cross-check. Tisk. He stood there in silence, knowing he had lost to you big time. The score was officially settled, and you were winning. Honestly, Louis, instead of wasting your time running over here or lying to that poor girl at school that we're dating, you probably should have just used that energy to actually confess to me. Before he could even open his mouth to fire back, you winked at him triumphantly, flashing one last mocking grin. To push him completely over the edge, you blew a dramatic air kiss right in his direction, watching his eyes widen in pure, unadulterated frustration. Without even waiting to see his reaction, you gave a casual, lazy wave over your shoulder, turned on your heel, and disappeared back into your room, sliding the balcony door shut behind you.